grade 9 students. I am Miss Alexander, your social studies teacher. Welcome to lesson 5. Today we are continuing with our new topic on citizens and the law, and we will be looking at the subtopic rights of the child. Now, in lesson 4, when we discussed citizens and the law, there were some important points that were made. And so before we go into this new subtopic, we would just like to recap what some of those things are and refresh your memory by asking a few questions and hearing your responses. So, this is our fill-in-the-blank question. Listen keenly and provide the correct answer. The something legally provides all citizens with certain rights or freedoms. The something legally provides all citizens with certain rights or freedoms. Think back on it. We did say that that legal document is the supreme document in Guyana. All right, if you said the Constitution of Guyana, you are correct. Our second question, one constitutional right is? We did list many of them the last time we met, so name any constitutional right that you may remember. All right, there are quite a few responses that you can give, like I just mentioned. You might have said the right to have a name, the right to be a member of any association, the right to own property, the right to free medical attention, the right to proper housing accommodation, the right to free education from nursery to university. Any one of those that you would have mentioned, it is correct. So let's move on to the true or false questions. The first one, citizens have rights and must behave in a responsible manner. Citizens have rights and must behave in a responsible manner. Is that statement true or false? This statement is true. So let's move on to the next question. Some irresponsible behaviors are punishable by law. Some irresponsible behaviors are punishable by law. Is this statement true or is it false? It is true. Good job. I'm happy that you would have remembered some of the key pointers from our previous lesson. Now, let's find out about the social experiment that you were assigned in our last lesson. I trust that you would have completed them. You were all assigned as social investigators, and you were asked to make notes of the behaviors of neighbors for 1 week. I trust that you made interesting findings and that you noted your own thoughts on what you observed. As we move into today's lesson, you may want to pay keen attention to concepts such as rights of the child and convention. In this lesson, you may be given taken-away activities to complete. It may require you to work independently or seek assistance of others as you research to gather information. These activities are aimed to help you have a better understanding of the concepts and apply the topic to our society. So let's get right into the session. What are our objectives? Students should be able to 1. List the main rights of children, and 2. Explain why children must be provided with special privileges. So, first, the rights of the child. In the last class, we mentioned that the rights and freedoms of individuals can be found in the Constitution of Guyana. That is true in the local context. In addition to this supreme document at the local level or the national level, the Declaration of Human Rights, formulated by the United Nations at the international level, also provides rights and freedoms of individuals. Specifically, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the United Nations has proclaimed that childhood is entitled to special care and assistance. In keeping with their promise to protect the rights of every child, the United Nations in the year 1989 adopted an international legal framework known as the Convention on the Rights of the Child, known as the CRC for short. Have you ever heard of the Convention of the Rights of the Child? Perhaps you might have heard it been mentioned by a teacher, a politician, some leader in your community, or you might have even seen it sometime as you were conducting research online, or perhaps at an organization. Contained in this treaty, the Convention of the Right of the Child, is a profound idea. That is, that children are not just objects who belong to their parents and for whom decisions are made, or adults in training. Rather, children are human beings and individuals with their own rights. The convention says that childhood is separate from adulthood and lasts until 18 years of age. Childhood is a special protected time in which children must be allowed to grow, learn, play, develop, and flourish with dignity. The convention went on to become the most widely ratified human rights treaty in history and has helped transform children's lives across the world. And guess what? The CRC was ratified in Guyana. As recent as November 20th, 2020, the government of Guyana joined the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, an institution under United Nations and the entire world, in celebrating World Children's Day. The president renewed the government's commitment to children's rights and indicated that, and I quote, "This is a priority." Children's Day was celebrated under the theme, "Reimagining a better world for every child." So you see, our leaders are intentional about ensuring that the rights of all Guyanese children are maintained and respected. So here's your takeaway activity. I want you to ensure that you have your pen and your notebook close by. So run quickly if you do not have it. And let's take a quick note of what the activity is. Firstly, when was the Convention on the Rights of the Child ratified in Guyana? You may identify either the year or both the year and the month. When was the Convention of the Rights of the Child ratified in Guyana? 2, I would like for you to research on the Rights of the Child Commission in Guyana. Note the function of the commission and where it is located. Research on the Rights of the Child Commission. Note the function of the commission and where it is located. 3, take a few minutes and prepare an artistic creation titled "Reimagine a Better World for Every Child." It may be a song, jingle, poem, spoken word, inspirational talk, painting, drawing, any creative skill you possess, use it to express yourself. Feel free to share it with your family members, and providing that you would have received consent from your parent or your guardian, you may also share it with your teacher and classmates. Have fun with this activity as you reimagine a better world for every child. Let's continue. The rights of the child, according to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, include 1, the right to have a name from birth and to be granted a nationality. 2, the state's obligation to provide special protection for children deprived of their family environment. 3, The state's obligation to protect children from all forms of maltreatment perpetrated by parents or other persons responsible for their care. And 4, according to Article 2 of the Convention, state parties shall respect and ensure the rights set forth in the present convention to each child within their jurisdiction, without discrimination of any kind, irrespective of the child's or his or her parents' or legal guardian's race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national, ethnic, or social origin, property, disability, birth, or other status. Other articles of the CRC can be sourced on either of the following websites: the United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commissioner or UNICEF. I encourage you to research more and read on other rights that children have according to the Human Rights Declaration. Let's move on. Why should children be provided with special privileges? Children should be provided with special privileges because 1. According to the declarations of the right of the child, by reason of his physical and mental immaturity, needs special safeguards and care, including appropriate legal protection before as well as after birth. 2. The family, as the fundamental group of society and the natural environment for the growth and well-being of all its members, and particularly children, should be afforded with the necessary protection and assistance so that it can fully assume its responsibilities for the life of a child. 3. They need a full and harmonious development for their personality. To enable this, they should grow up in a family environment, in an atmosphere of happiness, love, and understanding. 4. They should be fully prepared to live as an individual life in society and brought up in the spirit of the ideals proclaimed in the Charter of the United Nations, particularly in the spirit of peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality, and solidarity. And 5, in all countries in the world, there are children living in exceptionally difficult conditions, and as such, they need special consideration. Here's another takeaway activity. You are a child rights advocate. Identify one right of the child you are interested in based on the articles of the convention. Research on it either at the community, regional, or district level. Your research is based on how well children are enjoying the right you identified, or how poorly their conditions are, and as a result, are not enjoying the right that is afforded to them. Prepare a one-page newspaper article expressing your views based on your research. You may also include pictures as evidence to support the findings of your research. So let's have a quick recap to wrap up what was done in today's lesson. 1. The international legal framework which contains the rights of the child is known as the Conventions of the Right of the Child. 2. The rights of the child is ratified in many countries across the world, including Guyana. 3. The child, by reason of his or her physical and mental immaturity, needs special safeguards and care, including appropriate legal protection before as well as after birth. Some of the main rights of the child include A. The right to have a name from birth and to be granted a nationality. B. the state's obligation to provide special protection for children deprived of their family environment. And C, the state's obligation to protect children from all forms of maltreatment perpetrated by parents or others responsible for their care. Well, students, this has brought us to the end of today's lesson. There is so much that we can learn about citizens and the law. Do remember to complete the activities given. I look forward to hearing or seeing some of your expressive artistic creations and also hearing some of your findings based on how children are enjoying or may not be enjoying their rights within your community or at the regional or district level. I am Miss Alexander saying bye for now and see you in the next lesson.